Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to the Dom Trap. I'm your host, creator, director, your producer, executive producer, yada yada yada, your first, your last, your everything, Dominique. And here is my review of The Little Things, which is the film that came out on January 29th in theaters as well as HBO Max. And this film stars Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. This review is an excerpt of my latest episode of the Dom Trap, which is episode 12, where I also have my reviews of Malcolm and Marie and Judas and the Black Messiah. So if you can, please subscribe, share, and like the podcast. Become a Dom Trapper. We're almost at 50 subscribers, so I'm very glad that I have you guys along this ride with me. And with your support, I know that we can keep this ride going a lot further and for a lot longer. So I appreciate each and every last one of you, and I hope that for you newcomers that you're enjoying this review. Later. Without further ado, since I just got rushed and to get into the topics of films, The Little Things.
Terrible movie.
Now, when I first heard about this movie, I said, okay, cool. We get a new Denzel flick. And it also stars Rami Malek and Jared Leto. So I said, all right, this is going to be nice. It's set in the 90s. It's a crime drama, thriller type of film. I said, some of these actors, they're good at those type of roles. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, granted, you haven't seen much with Rami Malek and Jared Leto, but you've seen a lot of Denzel movies that feature crime and that are thrillers.
Yes.
Now, I was really disappointed in this movie.
Call a spade, man. It was trash.
I won't say it was trash, though, man.
That was a terrible movie.
I won't say it was trash, though. And here's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the plot could have easily just been done in like a TV episode. And that would have been a great episode.
That's a fact.
But here's the thing. The movie was overlonged. The movie is 2.5 hour longs. And me sitting there watching it, and about 20 minutes in, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. And I predicted the movie by accident. And, you know, those next 2 hours pass and the movie's over. And I'm like, what did I gain from this?
It was a waste of time.
Like, when you watch a movie, you want to be entertained and get to a finite ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you know it's going to be a sequel, you just have to be okay with that ending until there's a next one. But this one's a standalone film, and with every movie that you watch, you're hoping to get from point A to point B.
Now, don't leave out your biggest pet peeve, because I wish I was paid for how many times I've heard there was no character development. Nothing developed. They were the same person from beginning to end. They didn't change. What was their purpose? They didn't do anything.
And you know that's what I think about this movie. Like, there's no setup to who these people are as people.
I mean,
besides what they tell you.
All right, young cop. You got to give me what's young cop's name. I don't remember.
He's played by Rami Malek. I don't remember his name in the film. But Rami
All right, Playboy. Rami.
Rami. Yeah.
Rami. All right, Rami. Rami. If we be honest, he had some development, even though it wasn't positive development. Right. You could see. I mean, when you met his wife, it's typical. When you met his wife, you could almost guess this movie that he was gonna turn into the bad guy, quote unquote. But when you met his wife and she said he won't let me move out of the city, and she's a teacher, you think about the dynamic. She's a teacher, he's a police officer. That's typical middle America type of stuff. The husband has, he's a detective, this prominent, respected in a sense position. People look to that position as a position of power. Even inside a police department, you look at the detective as a position of power. So he's always in charge. What he says goes for the most part. Right. And his wife let him dictate certain things. So you could already see, and he was this hot shot detective. I remember the dude in the dude in the office, the chief or whatever, when he said, you basically I took his spot. Is that what you're telling me? So it's a couple things at work. I mean, it's in that sense, it's almost like an old western where you got the young buck coming to town, and you don't push
You
the
got the
old
old
buck out.
bull on the other hand, and
Yeah, I mean, you got dynamics like that. But to
but
my
that's my
point,
thing with this movie. It's oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to my point, you see him in a certain light.
Of course,
By the end of this movie, he's been stripped of all of that.
yeah, he's just a man at the end of it.
Basically, he got stripped of everything that he held sacred, and the principles and morals that he stood on all got
Mm-hmm.
stripped away. And not only that, the chief also told him, don't get mixed up with Denzel, because he's been through the ringer.
And what's the first thing he do? Invites the man to go eat bagels at a
Come
diner.
on, dog. Come on.
But here's my thing with this character though, man. Like, of course, we have this young guy who's still pretty new with this higher position than a lot of other people
Mm-hmm.
that have been there, that are seasoned vets at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this old boy that's working for a different place, right? But we know something has happened with him once he goes back, and people are like, "Hey, you're back here. What are you doing here? It's good to see you, I guess." You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
fact.
So it's like there's story there, but of course they just don't tell us what the story is right away, or they don't give us a flashback sequence right away. We find out later. Now, do you believe that it was decent payoff in that sense, or do you think that that was a waste of time as well?
Mm,
Because I want to say it was a waste of time.
I don't want to say it was a waste of time, because we did need we needed. I would have rather gotten. I'll tell you what would have been hard. I would have rather gotten a flashback, like one of them quick flashbacks where we see him at the scene of the crime,
Mm-hmm.
like the very first one, the very first girl he finds or has to start working, and then it fast forwards to him, let's say, working like in the police office late night, burning that midnight oil. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next part of the flashback is him either in open heart surgery after the heart attack, or him in the hospital. We don't
Yeah.
know what happened. We just know he in the hospital. Then the next thing you know, he in a courtroom, and the judge is slamming the gavel because his wife just got the divorce and kept the house.
Right.
And then you see him, the next time you see him, let's say it's his first day at the new police office that he got transferred to. Something like that.
Would have been a lot better.
I don't think, yeah, that like I said, I appreciate the flashback, but at the same time, I just think it was a terrible execution. It
Yeah.
could have been
Because I mean, it was so late in the movie, I had stopped caring about a lot of stuff,
better.
and his past was definitely one of them. Because I mean, yes, the present is important, but when it comes to a film like this, where you have these people trying to track down somebody that's doing stuff to other people, like it's good to know what we're getting ourselves into. It's good to know who these people are, what their reason is for doing this. I mean, you talk to a lot of cops, they can tell you why they're a cop. But when we see these people, we're like, okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you so invested into this? We just don't know.
I see what you're saying.
So
I
it
see what
comes
you're saying.
across as them being forced to care about what's going on because, I mean, we don't know what they went through.
True.
Like I said, at the end, when we find out, it's like, oh, well, it's a little bit too late for that because I stopped caring 45 minutes ago.
That's a fact.
You
That's
were
a
too, you
fact.
were too busy antagonizing the man that you had no proof did anything.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. He clearly did it. I mean, come
Did
on,
he
man.
though? They had
Bro,
no
don't
evidence.
don't do this, bro. Don't do
They had
this.
no evidence.
Don't do this, bro.
I'm just
You
saying
talking
they
to
had no
you talking
evidence.
to the bad guy. Don't do
But
this.
that's the point of the movie, bro. It doesn't matter, right? Is that what the end tells you? That's what the end told me. The ending of that film told me that it just everything doesn't matter, and that's why I feel like the time was wasted.
But he did it though.
But did it matter if he did it or not?
In the end, no, because I mean,
That's the
your
thing,
your man
bro.
your man Rami off them. What you mean?
But he
There
did
was
it. He did
it.
it. He did it in rage. He did it with rage.
Nah, get out of here, bro. That
He did.
princess punch of a swing he hit him with. Ain't no way he gonna die. Now I understand it's a shovel, and hey, look, man.
He with shovels every day, B.
The way he swung that shovel, ain't no way it was gonna kill him. It might have gave him a
I thought
concussion.
that's what I was thinking when it first happened. I was like, oh, he's just knocked out. He's gonna get back up.
Yeah, a little lump or something, not kill
But then
him.
there was blood, and I was like, huh?
He didn't even hit him that hard.
Right.
See,
Then
that
he,
was that was
then
trash.
he,
I hated that part. But at the same time, I'm still not I'm not gonna stunt. It's old buddy just he relished in the fact that I'm play like, all right, bro, you know me, and we this low key, this can kind of lead into the to Judas and the Messiah. But old buddy was playing with them folks, man, and he was
yeah,
happy to do so.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was like, oh, I'm a huge fan of TV shows about stuff like this.
Yeah, come on, man.
And
He
that's
was
when I was
having a
like, he's about to
ball.
string them on. And
Yeah,
that's
he was having a
exactly what he did.
ball. I mean, just he was enjoying all that attention.
Just being
And
weird. On
bruh,
top of that.
so look. When I first started watching it,
Yeah.
it was might have been about like it was a little after 8. So it's already dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark already. And it got to that point, and I'm like, a little bit of a scary movie dynamic going on in here.
Right.
So, I loosen up a little bit, sit back, like, okay, something should scare me in a minute, ain't it? And he just kept being weird, and it ain't never go nowhere.
Right. Like I'm gonna drive down the highway and turn around because I see who it is. Then I'm gonna drive back down the highway. And I'm like, I get it. But like, bro, you gotta think about how long that scene was. It was like 5 minutes of them
Bruh,
chasing each other on the highway and losing each other.
playing cat and mouse.
Yeah. And then he pulls up to the man like, yeah, I see you, and drives off in the other
I
direction.
completely did. I'm just like, what is this for?
Right.
He pulled up, he points at him, and then Denzel makes like he smiles at him. Then Denzel makes a straight face and he pulls off. And I'm like,
yeah.
What's the point?
And you know what tipped me off
what's
also about that scene, bro? The fact that it was that long, but you could tell like the driving was terrible. Like he would like turn around real fast, but he would like turn the steering wheel like this.
Yeah,
So I'm like, this makes no sense. And there was another scene where he's making a turn, but he doesn't turn the steering wheel.
Hey man,
and it just took it stuff like that just took me out of the movie.
How is Denzel attaching his name to shit like this?
Right.
And young and Junior over here is cutting his teeth,
Oh,
balling out
he's
of control. Come on, man. He's hitting it. He one of them top 3 right now. I mean, hey, this is completely off topic, but we talked about this previously.
Yeah.
John David.
It's 5 in the game right now. It's 5.
Daniel.
Lakeith.
As much as I don't like you, man, Lakeith. I gotta throw him in. Lakeith.
Yep. And then there's Adam Driver, of course. Adam Driver's been killing it for like the past 7 years.
Who that is? Cause
he's Kylo Ren in Star Wars, but he was the other guy in Black Klansman.
Oh, okay. All right.
The officer that had to fake be a racist.
All right, yeah. Gotcha.
Him and Robert Pattinson, who was in Tenet. I know you haven't seen Tenet. He was in the Twilight movies, but we don't talk about those here. He's gonna be the new Batman. And you saw that trailer, right?
No.
You didn't see the Batman trailer?
No.
And you call yourself a Bruce Wayne fan?
Christian Bale is my Batman.
Whatever, bro. We'll see in 2022. But
Christian Bale.
Those are my top 5. Robert Pattinson, Adam, in no particular order. Robert Pattinson, Adam Driver, Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, and John David Washington.
Hey, John David out here showing his ass, man.
Yeah. But I mean, back to the little things. I know we got off topic there, but we'll get back on.
Why are we still talking about this?
We have to give scores, man. So overall, I hope that this movie was just going to be interesting in the least. I mean, there were times where I was watching the movie and I was like, okay, I've had enough. And I would go on Twitter or something. Just because I just became bored. And you know what's funny about this movie, bro?
There's something funny about it?
Yes, it's something hilarious. You know how I love going to the theaters. And
Mm-hmm.
I told you that with this whole theaters and HBO Max thing, I said I'm still going to go to the theaters to watch these movies first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I watch them again on HBO Max. I woke up this morning and thought about the movie, and I said, okay, I haven't seen anything that like instantly told me that this is going to be a great movie
Mm-hmm.
besides Denzel being in it. I said maybe I'll be all right if I just watch it at home. You know what I mean? So boom, 12 o'clock noon hits, and I put it on. By the time this movie was over, I was glad I stayed home. I was glad I did not give them my 788 for that ticket because I was unimpressed. I was bored. The pacing of the film just kind of just wasn't there for me.
It was
It's just
trash,
like it's
man.
just like a bunch of things just happened and that was it. And I mean, if I had to give it a rating, it'd be a 5 out of 10.
Hey, you know something? It's
What's that?
good that people aren't paying attention to box office numbers like that right now. The
Mm-hmm.
pandemic saved Denzel Washington on this movie
Think so?
because his name should have not been attached to anything like this. Like it was a terrible movie.
Could you
It
imagine
really
if
was.
the pandemic never happened and this movie came out in theaters?
It would have
What
flopped.
people would have said about it?
It would have flopped.
Yes.
From the trailer. I remember seeing the trailer the first time and I'm like, "Oh, this might be good. Like this look all right."
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen Denzel in a while either.
Right.
I mean, all right, it's ironic. So I'm looking at the screen of my MacBook right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my top left-hand corner is two guns and American Gangster.
Right.
Come on, man. Like we haven't seen Denzel in a while. And those two movies, even Two Guns being like an action flick,
Mm-hmm.
Denzel was still Denzel, man.
Yeah.
And
Same with Flight. I was talking about Flight with somebody last night. We
he was
love
still,
Flight.
bruh,
We love Flight.
a drunk pilot who a drunk pilot. Cause we not about to dive into
Yeah,
that.
like
Just a drunk
we're not gonna
pilot.
spoil it here. We might have
And
that. We might have that for another episode where we just
Denzel is a
get into the
drunk
dichotomy
pilot.
of Flight.
Come on, man. Come on.
And let me ask you a quick question though. I thought about this after I seen this movie. Do you remember Fences?
Yeah,
Did you love
yeah,
Fences?
I did. Reminded me of me and my daddy. Straight
See,
up. Like not the dynamic of like, the outside kids and all of that, but just
right.
just a young man trying to come into his own, his
But you
daddy not
have a father
necessarily.
that's like not having it.
Yeah, like he not understanding what you got going on and hounding
Mm-hmm.
you up. I completely understood that.
Yeah.
Like that was great, bro. Seeing that play, like it was literally like watching bits and pieces of my own life on
Right.
repeat.
Seeing your own arguments just portrayed in a more dramatic way.
Yeah, that was
And it's
that was
crazy how
great.
that movie's about something that happened years ago, but it's still super relevant today.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be
And
relevant
and
tomorrow.
not only that, man, it's something that I know a lot of black fathers 30 and under,
Mm-hmm.
and a large majority of them do have girls. But if we just focus on the fact that you got to see a black father, even with his son, but you got to see a black father be a father, even
Mm-hmm.
if he was doing it wrong. Like even if we didn't
He
agree,
was
I ain't gonna
he
say,
was there.
yeah, I ain't gonna say doing it wrong, but
Right.
if we didn't agree, like you said, he was still there. He was trying to
Yes.
be a father.
Right.
We needed to see that. I think that when that movie came out, 20 what, 17,
Ooh,
18,
yeah, 17 or 18, I believe.
we needed that, bro. We
Yeah.
needed that.
Yeah.
As black men, we needed
That
that.
was a crucial time too for black men,
Yeah,
especially. I mean, we're still living in crucial times, but it's good to have that on film.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
100%. Um, do you have a score that you want to give this movie?
Out of 10,
Out of 10, yeah. A whole number.
give it a 3.
So, yeah.
When
So
HBO Max taking that off my account, man? Like for real,
you want your money back?
bro. When they taking that off, like
I think they leave them on for like a month, I believe, something like that.
they need to go ahead and take the little things
It
off. It's
might be
winter
off
time.
already, but
It should be.
I just I just couldn't believe it. I sat there. I wanted to enjoy it, but it was just so much of a bore fest of a film.
I stopped watching it 3 times.
Like I said, I had to pull out my phone because I was like, this is unbearable. And it's 2.5 hours of this. Like,
Now imagine if you would have gave them folks $7 for that.
I'd be a little bit upset. I'd be a little bit upset. But now
Anyway,
let's go in another direction, a more positive direction, and